Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to a new something. A new something just for you. It's Horny Creek.
That was his idea.
It's this show. So this is our Dawson's Creek show. Dawson's Creek's just come out. It's January 21st, 1998, everybody.
That it is.
And this is our new show, Horny Creek. This show is, first of all, do you want theme music for this? We've been debated back and forth. Should we put theme music to this? Everything else has theme music. I don't know. We're up in the air. If you want some, we'll figure it out. But just let us know. LateFeed1994 at AOL.com. Do you want theme music for our new show, Horny Creek?
The music in the show is really good. Like, not just their theme song, but like throughout the show, they use really good music. So
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
I feel like whatever
Can I do it?
What?
Let me just see if I can do it.
Oh, goodness.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. Am I close? Anyway, so I was going to mention the music. But, well, I guess we're jumping right into it. I was going to mention how horny this show is. This show is horny as shit.
I just wanted to say that, like, whatever we could pick as the theme music for our talking about it is going to pale in comparison to the music that they use. They obviously have somebody really good in charge of music.
Well, they have somebody that fucking tunes into the radio. I mean, I like their music. I wouldn't say they have someone really good in charge of the music. I wouldn't put the goodness of their music, and I agree it's good, on the person in charge of the music. What I was going to say about the music on this show is it's interesting because on many shows, you would, and I don't know if they're going to continue to do this or not. I don't know if they can afford to continue to do this or not. But on many shows, you have a composer. You know, like Ron Jones used to be a composer on Star Trek The Next Generation. And they had other people, too. Some guy named Flanagan, I think, or something like that. But anyway, and they would compose original music. They'd hire them. They'd own the music. They would compose original music. And it's score-type music, you know, like in Star Trek The Next Generation, it's like, da, impending danger, da, 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 da. You know, like that thing that Ron Jones composed with an orchestra and everything. On this show, when they do transitions, they show a sad blonde woman by the lake or whatever, by the creek. It's frickin' as I lay me down to sleep, this I pray. Mm-hmm. You will be near.
You will hold me, dear.
Though I'm far away.
Yes, that's a good song.
So, yeah, it's a good song. Hawkins, is that her name?
I don't know.
Sarah Hawkins or something like that. But anyway, Sadie Hawkins. But, so they use, what I'm saying is they use popular music. Instead of creating a score or using generic kind of wallpaper music, they're using popular music.
Which is smart considering their target audience.
Agreed. Smart considering their target audience are teenagers who are going to connect with these songs. Hence their theme song, the I don't want to wait. But,
that had to cost a pretty penny.
She had 2 babies. One was 6 months. I don't know why I'm making it
why are
a
you
poppy, like
singing,
it's a happy, but it's like a happy poppy song. One was 6 months, one was 3.
It's not, though.
Her husband was fucking up. Anyway.
What the fuck is going on? So this is why we shouldn't drink before we record.
I'm not drunk.
I'm not as think as you.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that line. Anyway, so it's interesting that they're using popular music as opposed to generic music.
Right.
And like I said, I don't know if they can afford to continue to do that. But if they do, it sets the show apart. Yeah. It's different than many shows. And I noticed that right away. I was like, oh, hey, as I lay me down to sleep or whatever. But yeah, so.
The other thing you noticed right away was how horny it was.
Oh my God, horny as hell.
Well, I mean, the very first thing they talk about in the show
is how long Dawson's fingers are.
She did not say that until halfway through. Come on.
It's like, what have those fingers been doing? She? What have those fingers been? No, it was more than... It was like at the beginning.
When she was first leaving the window, then she mentioned it again later.
You've got genitals.
Yeah.
Oh, I've always had genitals. Yeah, they're bigger now. What? Long fingers.
Okay.
What's he doing with these... Stop. What is he doing with these fingers in the middle of the night when they're sleeping next to each other? Like a couple of friends do. What the fuck?
So... These two characters, Joey and Dawson,
a woman named Joey.
Obviously short for Josephine.
Well, yeah, he says that.
Yeah.
He says that, oh, am I supposed to call you Josephine? Your full name is Josephine. And then he looks at the camera and winks.
But I mean, like in Little Women, Joe, Josephine.
I understand.
It happens. It's okay.
Yeah, Joe March.
She can be Joey.
I got it. I didn't say she couldn't be Joey. I said it was weird.
It's not, though.
I thought it was Joey Lawrence. Whoa.
Joey and Dawson have been friends since they were very little, and
Dawson Leery,
and they're 15.
Yeah,
and
the oldest looking 15-year-olds in the world.
No, I mean, like, he's definitely older than 15.
How did you get that beer, Dawson? I've got a fake ID.
She could be close to 15.
She looks youngish.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not as bad as like 90210.
Catherine Holmes, I believe, is her name.
Katie Holmes?
Katie Holmes.
Yeah. Katie Holmes
Condos.
And James Van Der Beek.
Yeah. This guy sounds like he's from fucking Connecticut money. My family's in insurance. My name's James Van Der Beek the Third.
But I mean, we start out like discussing the fact that
he's probably a fine guy.
She spends the night at his house all the time.
All the time, she's sleeping in bed next to him. Fucking listen to me when I tell you that this fucking Katie Holmes, if you haven't seen the show,
if you want to be fucking this Katie,
is a fucking smoke show, man. What? Don't look at me like that.
No, I look at you like that because you just stabbed me with your toe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby.
Anyway,
something else.
Stop it.
Anyway, this Katie Holmes is hot.
Yeah, well, and, he's okay looking.
Yeah, I guess. He's got a strong jawline, if you like that.
He's got a giant forehead.
He does.
I don't like his forehead.
He looks like a Cro-Magnon man fucked a praying mantis.
He would be good looking if it weren't for this giant forehead.
Yeah, I guess.
But, yeah, so she's like... I can't sleep in bed with you anymore. We're getting too old. We're starting high school next week. These are all valid points.
I have breasts.
You have genitalia. He's like, I've always had genitalia.
Yeah, long fingers, sweet.
And then she's like, it's bigger now. How do you know? Long fingers. That was it, yeah. That's
I'm
hilarious.
Thinking they're sleeping back, like back to front or whatever, I guess.
You think he's spooning her?
Yeah.
Well, that is not how they slept when she does end up spending the night with him.
He's on his back.
Yeah, he has her back to him, and he's on his back, and everything.
It's like, Dawson, why are the covers levitating off me?
Right. He's like, why'd you have to bring this up? Because now he's like, can't stop thinking about how hot she is.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
But apparently he doesn't want to have sex with her.
Did it not occur to him that she had breasts until she said it?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Like, I'm thinking, like...
That's the most unbelievable thing about this show. And keep in mind, these teenagers, these supposed 15-year-olds, speak at a fucking PhD level.
They do. They use some real big words.
Yeah.
And they speak...
Dawson,
they're very mature in their speech.
Haven't you ever contemplated our possible coupling, Dawson?
I like it, though. I like the way they talk.
It's interesting. The language is interesting. We should mention this is Kevin Williamson.
Who?
Kevin Williamson.
I heard the name, but I don't know who you're talking about.
He's the son of William.
Dear Lord.
According to the Scandinavians. He created, or he wrote, I guess, Scream, the Screaming films. And I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Well, and those were all really good.
With another hottie called
Sarah
Jennifer.
Michelle Gellar.
Well, Jennifer Love You too, I was thinking. But Sarah Michelle Gellar's hot too.
And she was in both the Scream movies and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
That's true. You got it.
Yeah. So he knows how to pick pretty girls.
I guess, but yeah, that's true.
But he also knows how to make decent movies. So.
He created the show's interesting. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if they're going to rerun it or not. But the first episode, but check it out.
I mean, watch it next Friday.
It's a.
We'll tell you what you missed right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she attacks
all the horniness that you missed,
right? So she like attacks him because he makes some comment about her. Like she jumps on him in the bed. Remember, like.
Oh yeah. They start wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like just like you do with your. By the way, why are they just starting high school if they're 15 and they're in 10th grade? They mentioned they're in 10th grade. Is 9th grade not high school anymore?
Well, some places 9th grade is middle school.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so they call it junior high when it's 8th and 9th grade.
Oh.
Or 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. I'm not sure.
Junior high. I just had a middle school. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, me too. I had a middle school with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, but some places have junior high and it goes through 9th grade and then the high school's 10th grade. So.
Nice. I feel like that's a 70s thing. I don't think they really do that anymore.
I don't know. I was 15 when I started high school, but I got held back a year, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll hold you back. That means. But anyway, so.
Wow.
See, Dawson's got me all horny.
Does he now?
No,
I thought you thought
show.
he looked Cro-Magnon.
The
but okay.
show.
Uh-huh.
How long are my fingers? Are they very long?
They're long enough.
Are they abnormally long, though? Like, they're longer than other guys' fingers?
What is happening right now? Do you have E.T. fingers? No.
Holy shit, E.T. was packing. That goes along with this, by the way, because this dude's fucking obsessed with Steven Spielberg.
He has all the posters.
He doesn't want to have sex with Katie Holmes, whatever you want me to call her, but he wants to have sex with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, they were watching E.T. at the beginning of the movie.
Ouch.
He has all the posters all over his room.
Yeah, he's got them in order. Blockbusters, critically acclaimed films, and then Always in 1941 hidden away because they didn't do well. 1941 sucks. Always is a decent movie.
I don't know. I've never heard of those two movies.
1941's a comedy with John Belushi.
Okay.
It's like World War II.
Well, that's why you like it.
World War II pilots.
Sure.
No, I said it's not good.
Oh.
It's not a good movie. It's a famous failure of his. Always is fine.
Okay. So they're starting high school. They're also filming a movie.
Well, Dawson is, because Dawson wants to be the next Steven Spielberg.
Right.
See, Steven Spielberg was obsessed with Alfred Hitchcock and then watched all of Alfred Hitchcock's films, and then it's like Jaws is heavily inspired by the films of Hitchcock. And then he had a chance to meet Alfred Hitchcock, and Hitchcock's like, "Oh, that's that dude that made the Fish movie. Tell him to fucking go away or whatever."
Aw, that's sad.
Apparently he didn't, like, he was nervous about meeting Spielberg, even though he didn't say it. Like, he acted like he didn't want to see him, like he was better than him or whatever. But I guess he was like,
he was insecure. Yeah,
he was insecure because it's like the tail end of his career and the beginning of this guy's career, of Spielberg's career, and it was like, I don't know. There's a whole story about it. But anyway, yeah, there's a famous story where they were on the same lot, and Spielberg wanted to see him, and he told the assistant or whatever, he's like, send him over, the guy that made the Fish movie or whatever.
Wow.
And I guess it crushed Spielberg.
Aww.
So I wonder if there'll be a time where Dawson can meet Spielberg, and Spielberg's like, I'm eating steak and souffle or whatever. Get the fuck out of here.
Maybe. We'll see. But they're making some horror movie where, like, Pacey is his best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess he's not his best. He's his best guy friend.
I forgot that fucking what's his name from the Mighty Ducks is in this too.
Joshua Jackson.
Yeah, he plays some guy named Pacey. Pacey sounds like a girl's name. Joey is a guy. Sounds like a guy's name. They should switch names.
I don't think Pacey sounds like a girl's name. Have you ever seen a girl named Pacey?
I've never seen a girl in my life besides you. Once I saw you, I blocked out every other woman.
I think that Pacey is cuter than Dawson.
Oh, 100%. Yes. No offense, James Van Der Beek, who I know is listening to the show. But, yes.
Well, it's just kind of weird because it's like you'd think that the more attractive dude would be the star. But
not necessarily.
Not in this case. And then they've got also a new girl who's just moved in next door to Dawson. What the fuck was her name again?
Michelle Berg Williams.
Well, that's the actress's name, but the character's name,
Jen.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
So those seem to be like the main 4 characters
so far. Yeah.
And Pacey is playing the monster from like the Black Lagoon or whatever in this movie.
Yeah, it's essentially a remake of the creature from the Black
and
Lagoon.
he pulls Joey in the water and stuff.
Grabs her ass apparently.
Yeah,
because he's a real man.
Well, he has noticed she's a woman apparently.
Yeah, all real men sexually assault women.
Oh jeez, the fuck.
No, it's a joke, but I mean, come on, Dawson. She clearly wants Dawson.
Well, yeah,
100%.
Well, yeah, because she just like with Buffy, with Xander and Willow. A boy and a girl become friends, and they grow up. The girl's gonna be in love with the guy. Doesn't matter what he looks like. Doesn't matter anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I mean, the same thing here.
Huh.
Because women are much more about an emotional attachment, so, like, the physicality doesn't matter.
Interesting.
They're like, you're a guy, and I love you already, so let's have sex.
Wow. Okay. There's a cheat code out there, everybody. All guys out there. All 7-year-olds listening to the show. Befriend a girl that you assume will eventually become hot as she goes through puberty. And if you luck out in that lottery, she's all yours.
What's weird too in this show?
It's a TV show.
Yeah, a TV show. Is it like there's a ladder that goes up to Dawson's window?
That is the weirdest thing.
And
the ladder.
Joey climbs into his window. Like the next door neighbor lady's like, that girl has been
my window.
That girl's been climbing through his bedroom window for 10 years.
Yeah, and he's been busting through her window for probably as long, she says. I'm a good Christian woman who judges everyone.
Right, exactly. I don't get it though. Like that's weird. That's weird? Very weird.
What is weird? The ladder?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's weird that Dawson's parents are just cool with them shacking up together.
Yeah.
I guess when they're 7, it's whatever. Although, even at 7, I don't know. I mean, because they could be playing doctor or whatever.
Right.
But at 14, like she's just mentioning this now that they're 15. But at 13 and 14,
yeah, that's inappropriate.
Dawson's parents were still like, that's cool. Yeah. But I mean, Dawson's parents are horny as shit too.
Right.
Because they walk into them banging on a fucking coffee table.
They weren't banging. They were making
close.
Out. Yeah, I guess.
Her shirt was open.
They might have gotten there in a minute, yeah.
Oh, we thought you were still at work, Dawson, or whatever.
Yeah. That was weird. What's weird to me, too, though, is, okay, so the Dawson says at some point he's...
Dawson? That's what we're going to call him from now on. The Dawson. He's a computer.
No, he says at some point to Joey that he thinks his mom might be sleeping with her co-anchor. She's a news reporter.
Bob. Yeah, she's a news reporter with big hair.
Gigantic hair. And we find out at the very end of the episode that indeed she is.
Because she kisses Bob. First of all, Bob's driving her home. Like, if I was her husband, I'd be like, hey, how come, like, you're hitching a ride with your fucking co-anchor? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, the whole thing's weird.
But why is she cheating on her husband who she's obviously got an active sex slave with?
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. Like, usually you'd think when people are cheating, they're not actively having sex with their spouse too.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I'm not a cheater, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, neither am I, obviously. I'm just saying, like, it seems like an odd character choice for a fiction.
Yeah, plus Dawson's dad's way better looking than Dawson, so.
Well, and he's way better looking than Bob.
Oh, yeah. Bob looks like a dork.
Like, what is she doing?
I don't know. It's fucked up, though.
Yeah.
That's going to be drama that goes on, I assume.
But yeah, like everybody in this show is wanting to have sex with somebody, except for like maybe the grandma that lives next door.
The grandma wants to have sex with the grandpa, but he's had a fucking aortic replacement.
Like Joey's character lives with her sister, who is pregnant with an illegitimate child from her boyfriend who's black and they're white.
Black boyfriend. Oh no.
And it's like, and he lives there, and it's this whole huge thing because it's a small town, whatever.
It's fucking redneck town.
Well, and apparently her dad's in prison for drugs, and her mom died. She's got a really messed up backstory.
Fuck yeah, and she lives in a shack.
It's not a shack.
With her sister. Well, I mean, it's not a great house.
Well, no, and like she has to like rowboat down the creek to Dawson.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Did Dawson's parents name him after the creek, or is the creek named after him?
Or maybe the creek's not named after him at all, and they just call the show Dawson's Creek because he lives on the creek.
You want to fucking just ruin my life here.
I'm sorry.
I assumed that it was called Dawson's Creek. What are they it's funny, though. I didn't really assume that, Carol. It's a joke.
I was looking at him like he's a fucking moron.
It's a bit for the show. I understand that the show is just called Dawson's Creek. But what's weird about this creek is they just call it the creek. It has no name.
Yeah.
Oh, they live down the creek.
Well, maybe it's such a small creek that there is no name.
What is the definition of a creek? Because it looks like a lake. Is it not a lake?
I think a creek is a very small river.
I thought that was a crick.
Yeah, I think that's the same fucking thing.
But it doesn't look like a river. It doesn't flow as much as a river. I don't know. It's weird.
They live on water, and they can rowboat to each other's houses. Okay.
Yeah, they live in some town called Capeside.
Yeah.
I assume they're in fucking Massachusetts or Connecticut.
Yeah, they've got to be in one of those eastern lake states.
They don't have
or
that shit
ocean
out west.
states. Ocean, right? They'd be on the ocean.
Well, yes, the eastern states are on the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Atlantic Ocean.
Dawson and Pacey work together at a video store.
Yeah, they work at Blockbuster Video, but it's not Buster Video or whatever. Pacey would like it to be Nutbuster Video.
Jesus Christ, Pacey is like the horniest of them all.
They're all super horny, though. But yes.
And
but he wants to fuck Mary Kay Letourneau or whatever.
What? What's her name?
Mary Kay Letourneau.
How? Like, how?
How what?
How do you know that?
How do I know what?
Her name. It's weird.
Whose name?
The lady he wants to fuck.
Oh, that's not her name.
Oh, who's Mary Kay Letourneau?
She's a teacher that fucking got impregnated by one of her students.
Yes, he does want to knock up his teacher, I'm sure.
Well, we don't know that it's his teacher at first. But this older lady, good-looking lady, but this older lady walks in to the video store, and she was totally flirting with him.
And she's got this tiny little dress on, and
she's like, my name is Miss...
no, she says Tamara. She introduces herself as Tamara.
Yeah.
And
see, you remembered her name.
Yeah, the character, but I don't know the actress's name.
Oh,
I thought that's what you were saying.
I don't know the actress's name either.
But
yeah, she mentions her name is Tamara, and she's like, oh, I like romance movies. He's like, oh, new releases are over there. And she's like, no, I like classics. Like The Graduate. Mm-hmm. You know, the one where the older lady seduces the younger fucking guy. You know that movie?
And then Dawson just shows up and hands it to her. Like, he's just eavesdropping so hardcore that he just had time to grab the movie. It was funny.
It is. I have no interest in having sex with you, but here's the movie.
The weirdest part about the whole exchange to me was when they said, pay when you bring it back. Yeah. And they didn't ask for ID or make her fill out anything or give her a card. Well, they just gave her a movie.
They did ask for a credit card.
They did.
Yes.
But then they said, pay when you return it.
Yeah, but a credit card to open up the account.
So if she doesn't return it, they could charge her for it. So I guess it's not that weird.
Because even at Blockbuster, you need a credit card to open up the
That's true. The I remember, like, never mind, I was going to share some personal stuff there.
Okay.
Whatever, it's old news. My mom didn't have a credit card.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to, open an account at, like, the family video store down the road.
Sure.
And she had to borrow one from my grandma just to be able to open a video store
account. Oh, my God, that's hilarious. So, not all of them do. A lot of them do. There was they're closed down now, but there was a video store, like a family-run video store, not a chain, by my house where I could get a card, even under 18, and I didn't need a credit card. And then I could rent R-rated movies.
Yeah, well, my mom...
they were not... They were not discerning at all.
Right. My mom told them I could rent R-rated movies. Like, it was in the account that I could rent whatever I wanted, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, Blockbuster, I think, has pretty much always asked for a credit card since they opened.
Yeah. I think the big chains do, for sure. But I just thought that was an odd response. Pay when you bring it back.
I thought that was odd, too. But then, so, she sees her at school, and she's like, oh, why don't you call me Mrs. whatever her last name is, while we're in school. And he's like,
Jacobs.
Oh. Yeah, Mrs. Jacobs. Or Miss Jacobs.
Ms. Jacobs.
Yeah, because she's not married. And he's like, oh, cool. All right, whatever. I'll call you Miss Jacobs. It's a fucking, that's a fucking fetish of mine now, he says. And he's talking to her about movies or whatever. And he's like, oh, you know, The Summer of 42, where the woman fucks a young guy, where the woman commits statutory rape. And she says, well, I'm seeing a new movie at the Videoplex, the Movieplex.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. So then he ropes Dawson, the new girl Jen, and Joey into going to the movies.
As though it's a double date.
Kind of, yeah.
But it's not a double date because...
No, because he absconds and goes to meet Jen.
Well,
who's with another... Or not Jen. Tamara. Who's with another teacher.
Yeah. And she's just like, what are you doing here? Like, acts like he's being stupid. Like, she wasn't flirting with him.
Hardcore flirting with him,
like,
she was.
He's got a lot of confidence, though.
Oh, 100%.
Because, like...
He's got the confidence of a man that's really 19 and not 15.
Right?
Or however the fuck old the guy from... what's his name again? Jacob... What's his name?
Joshua
Jacobs.
Jackson.
Joshua Jackson.
Yeah.
From the Mighty Ducks.
Right. But it's...
Charlie.
Most teenagers would have been wrecked. Like, 100%. Emotionally wrecked.
100%, yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, whatever. He gets decked by her date.
No, not by her date. It wasn't her date.
Who hit him?
They're fighting, and the date and him, they're like jawing at each other or whatever. A guy in the row behind them stands up, and he's like, what the fuck? Get down. I'm trying to watch this fucking movie. And then he swings and hits.
Okay.
I think, like, the teacher, not the girl, the boy teacher, I think, like, accidentally knocks the guy's popcorn or whatever, and he hits Pacey. And then next time we see him, he's on the boardwalk or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Tamara's like, what were you doing? And he's like, yeah, okay, you can fucking pretend. Like, this is the speech of an adult.
Right,
not
sure.
Not of a 15-year-old. But he's like, yeah, you can pretend like you weren't flirting with me or whatever, but we both know what you were doing. You feeling older or whatever. You flirt with a handsome, young, virile boy on the verge of being a man.
Yeah, no teenager would describe himself like that.
Right. And that's what you were doing, whatever. And she's like, no, I wasn't doing it or whatever. And then she wraps her arms around him and kisses him.
Yeah.
Like, makes out, like, not...
In public. I mean...
Not makes out with him, but it's a passionate kiss.
Yeah, on the boardwalk. Like, yeah, there was nobody else around, lucky for them, but, like, people could see there's water there. Mm-hmm. People could be on their boats. People could be in their cars. Like, you have no idea. You're a teacher and he is your student, and what the fuck are you thinking, you crazy bitch?
Right.
Like... Whatever. She was kind of, like, interesting, and now I'm just like, wow, she is fucking wackadoo.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to fuck or whatever. But if they do, I'm afraid that this show is going to portray this as like, oh, yeah, this is so awesome. This is a boyhood fantasy, having sex with the hot older teacher. Like they talk about with the Mary Kay Letourneau thing, you know, this is great because it's a young boy or whatever. Reverse this.
Right.
Male teacher, 15-year-old female student.
Oh, handcuffs immediately. Off to jail.
And it's like it's ridiculous. It should be both ways.
It should. I agree. Well, I mean, she does end up in jail with Paterno or whatever, right?
Yeah, she's well,
Didn't she get arrested?
They put her in jail. Yeah, she got arrested. They put her in jail. I think they have some kind of agreement or something. I think she's getting out soon, or she got out. I haven't followed the haven't followed the case super closely, but I do think because she was going to serve like 10 years, and I think they pled it down. She can't see the kid anymore or whatever.
Well, of course.
Like there's a restraint, like that's part of her parole and stuff like that. But I think they're paroling her, yeah.
So you think they're being easier on her than they would be to a dude?
I think they're 100% being easier on her than they would be on a dude.
And you're probably right, because, I mean, if you think about it, okay, it's just the sex act is more aggressive from a man to a woman.
I get it. I mean, as a young boy that had crushes on teachers when I was, 14, 15, 16 years old, I get it. Because if one of the female teachers that I thought was attractive, that I had a crush on, let me have sex with them, I wouldn't feel victimized.
Right.
But a lot of 16-year-old girls, I'm sure, that find their male teachers attractive, that might pursue that or put themselves in a situation. And this is not me saying that every time it happens, it's a woman putting themselves in the situation. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there are some women that might pursue that.
Like he's doing with his teacher.
Right. And they probably don't feel like they're being victimized either. But there's a difference between, like being an adult and being able to make adult sexual decisions with other adults, and being 16, you don't, even if you feel like you're not being victimized, even if you feel like you're being in control, there's a responsibility of an adult to behave like an adult and not victimize a child that might not fully understand the context of the situation that they're engaging in. Like that dude that she had sex with, I think he's like 14 or something like that. He might feel like, I'm not a victim. I love her. I enjoyed the sex, whatever. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to be fucked up psychologically.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, like, he is being victimized because, he's not mature enough. That's whatever.
So this whole thing's, like, guys are going to have hormones. Like, he can want to fuck his teacher, but she can't encourage that.
Yeah, she can't allow that to happen. She can't be participant in that.
Right. Like a lot of that's going to have with hormones. That's going to happen with a lot of students, I'm sure. But
especially when you look,
you can't encourage that shit.
But she looked horrified after she kissed him. She was like, "Oh my god, what have I done?" and ran away. And
like what the fuck is he like? The Charlie from fucking Mighty Ducks is just so magnetically handsome that she can't help herself. Like, what do you? I mean, like he's a good looking kid, but I mean. I don't know. Like, you could control yourself around him, couldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I could control myself around anyone but you.
That's right. Anyway. So, that's kind of his storyline. And then, I guess we should talk about the new girl.
Yeah, so this girl, Jen, apparently she knows Dawson from years ago.
Yeah, because she would comment. They didn't fully say this, I don't remember them fully saying it, but the impression I get is that she would come and visit her grandmother.
Right.
And, so they would get to know each other. They got to know each other.
Yeah, he lives next door, so.
Yeah.
So when she gets out of a taxi and, she's looking all cute and both the guys are staring at her because she's blonde. Now.
Who's better looking?
That's the question. Okay, I mean, Katie Holmes is gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
And she's got a decent body.
Uh-huh.
And then Michelle Williams.
Yeah, Michelle Williams.
I mean, I think she is a little bit prettier. She's got a better body. They both have nice bodies, but hers is a little better. I
prefer Katie Holmes. Okay. I prefer Joey.
All right.
Between the two. And I think that's just, they're both very good looking. I think that's just my natural preference.
I don't think many dudes would look at those two women and not want either one of them. I mean, like, it would have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're both, A+ looks.
Sure. I'm not as into blondes as I am into darker hair, so.
Well, that's lucky for me.
But anyway, so, yeah, she gets out of the taxi cab. She's from New York.
She does not talk like that.
Hey, what's up, Dawson? I'm from New York. Hey, I remember you. What's your name, Joey?
So her grandpa had a
aortic replacement.
Yeah. So she says she's there to help out her grandmother.
I don't know if he got the plastic one. Did she say plastic?
I think she
does
did.
Plastic. Yeah. So that's the artificial one. You can get a pig valve, which then you don't have to take as many drugs, but it wears out.
Okay.
Or you can get the artificial one, the plastic one. You have to take more blood thinning drugs, but it lasts like forever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pacey and Dawson are both drooling over her and acting like Joey no longer exists. And I think that's, it's just, she's like part of the scenery to them, though, because she's just been around for so long.
They are 100% taking her for granted.
Yeah. So that's a problem. And that's making her feel really insecure. Mm-hmm. And so when they all go out to the movies together, she acts like a fucking psycho.
She does really act like a psycho. And it doesn't help that Dawson wants to hold Jen's hand and all this shit.
But I mean, it's his right. I mean, just like it's Xander's right to want to be with Cordelia instead of Willow.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, you can't control who you like and who you don't like.
Yeah.
And he has an attraction to her that he doesn't have with Joey.
So... But yeah, she's very jealous, and she says some really... they're walking into the theater, and she's like, are you a virgin? And, all that, it was so inappropriate.
And she was like, yeah, I am a virgin, and I don't believe her, but she did say that.
And Joey asked her, are you a size queen? And she's like, well, considering I'm a virgin, I really don't know.
She's like, well, you're in luck with Dawson. He's got fucking long fingers.
And then he drags her out of the theater to yell at her. Which was funny.
I guess Nosferatu must be fucking hung too, right?
Right.
With those long fingers.
Oh, maybe he can play the piano really well.
Is there something with finger length and penis length? I don't even know.
I don't know. I mean, I'd imagine the length of fingers could be beneficial, whether the size of the penis was.
That's a completely different thing.
But I mean, I don't know. People say that about feet too. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if you can really tell.
Yeah.
Unless you look at the penis itself.
I mean, I think a lot of taller dudes tend to have bigger...
I would assume that it's somewhat proportional, yes.
No. But who knows? And I mean, it can also be that guys you wouldn't think have big ones, so who knows?
Yeah. All comes down to genetics in some way or another.
Right. But Joey certainly spends a lot of time thinking about the size of Dawson's.
Yeah, she does.
And at the end of the episode, Joey is hiding in his closet when he gets home after he has yelled at her.
Yeah. She's punishing herself by looking at the posters of Always in 1941.
It's such a weird... they have a fucked up relationship. He comes home and she's just in his closet. She's what the fuck?
I'm just hanging in the closet.
With the clothes.
Hilarious line.
But I mean, they talk and stuff, and she's like, again, we can't, spend the night. And I think he agrees with her this time. Yeah,
he's like, okay, good night. And she's like, we can't talk about everything, Dawson. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what do you mean? And she says, how often do you walk your dog? Apparently, and he said this to Pacey earlier in the episode.
Go home and walk your dog.
Apparently, the euphemism for masturbation that they have chosen on the show is walk your dog.
Have you ever heard that anywhere?
No.
That's weird.
She says, how often do you walk your dog? What time of day?
What do you think about?
Blah, blah, blah.
She's all about the inappropriate questions. She should be drinking and playing truth or dare with these people, not just living life.
Stop living your life.
No, I'm just saying.
Drinking and play truth or dare, that's your life now.
That would be a more appropriate context for her behavior.
So she like gets in her fucking boat or whatever, and Dawson comes to Wyndham and he's like, in the morning with Katie Couric. Come on, man. Like, by the way, your mom is in the news, and you're whacking off to you're walking your dog to a newscaster. That's a little fucked up. That's a little edible right there.
It's gross.
And I mean, Katie Couric is fine, but like, come on.
I can't picture her. I don't think I watched any of her stuff ever.
She does the Today Show.
Yeah.
Bryant Gumbel and Katie Couric or whatever. Yeah, not I mean, she's fine, but she's not like she's no Joan London.
Oh, also, Joey's just really mean to the new girl.
Yes,
she's so jealous of her.
Yeah, she's mean to her, and yeah, Jen came because she's helping take care of the grandpa, who's had this surgery, who we see once with his eyes closed, fucking bed bound, and I guess that's gonna. I assume we're gonna get a little bit more of his character.
We'll see.
And the grandma's like, "Oh, we'll go to church on Sunday or whatever," and she's like, "Yeah, I'm an atheist, Grandma. Get out of here with your God."
Yeah, I mean, and she keeps making comments about what happened in New York, but we don't know what happened in New York.
Yeah.
But, well, so that's interesting. She mentions too that she wants a cigarette, but she quit.
She does say that, yeah.
So she used to be a smoker. Mm-hmm. So that tells me she used to be a little more on the edge than she's trying to be right now.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't believe her that she's a virgin.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here where, like, Grandma keeps mentioning what happened in New York, so I don't think she's just there to help with her grandpa.
Oh, that's a good. I didn't think about that, but that's if something untoward happened in New York, maybe she had sex with her teacher.
Maybe
she had sex with Miss Jacobs. Miss Jacobs like fled to Capeside to get away from her. Then she's gonna see her and she's gonna be like, "Oh no!" You've got a real problem, Miss Jacobs. Can't keep your hands off students.
Right.
Also, Dawson wants to get into the film class, but it's restricted for upperclassmen, apparently, because it's really popular.
And I think that's the same teacher that Miss Jacobs was at the theater with.
I think so. It looked like him. I couldn't quite tell, but I think it was him.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like...
That dude moves fast, too, apparently.
Dawson seems very entitled.
Fuck yes.
Like, the fact that he approaches this teacher like, "Hey, I couldn't get into your class, must be some mistake."
Right.
And then thinks he can just plead his way in, and he's like, that wouldn't be fair. There's a wait list. Like,
right. He's like, "Hey, I want to make movies. These other fuckers don't want to do this."
Right. Who gives a shit about everybody else?
Right. Well, the guy's got the biggest house in the crick. So, I mean, they're doing well.
Well, and everybody keeps mentioning how, like, great and perfect his life is.
Yes.
So he's got a golden boy complex, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So are we supposed to really root for him or what? I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see.
But I'm definitely intrigued by all the drama going on in this show.
It's interesting.
And the characters are interesting.
It's interesting how horny the show is.
Yeah. It's true. Everybody except the grandma.
I don't know if we're going to keep calling it Horny Creek or not because, this was one episode, but we'll see. We'll see. If it continues to be horny, then it will continue to be Horny Creek.
So I guess that's it for the show.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
So you can check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com. Mm-hmm. Write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com.
Yes.
And tell your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.